Welcome to the Squared Circle Jerks podcast, where we review WWE Survivor Series 2017. I am Mike, and my partner, as always, is Byron.
What up, Doe?
We were supposed to have Joey, but he's missing in action.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He was. I asked him, "You coming over for Survivor Series?" He said, "Hell yeah!" And so I had beer on hand, and I made a shit ton of nachos, and I drank all the beer.
There is a Facebook picture to prove this.
There's still a shit ton of nachos, which I will be portioning out to myself generously throughout the week.
Indeed. So this is the one night of the year when SmackDown goes head to head with Raw, which is bullshit.
Jesus Christ, fuck off!
I had to do it. We opened up with the New Day versus the Shield, and I rather like the New Day's opening up promo. Actually,
I caught part of the Owens, Zayn, Tyler Breeze Fandango match, which was very good.
Would you like to go into detail on it, or
not really? I think I watched like the last half of the match, and of course, all four of those guys are excellent, and it was good. That's really, I didn't see the whole thing, so I can't really say what was up, but yeah.
As per usual, we don't really cover the pre-show, just to save time. I liked the balls reference, basically. You got big swanging guts. Oh, right, it's PG, right. And the Bob Barker line and Xavier Woods coming back with, remember, spay and neuter your pets.
I was actually chopping up the green peppers for the nachos when this was all going on, so I watched, once the match started, I actually sat down and watched, but largely the whole promo thing I skipped. I heard a bit of it through into the kitchen, but not much.
On the negative side, no Raw t-shirt for Roman Reigns. Come on, Roman, leave the vest at home.
No, sir. He's got a matter of fact, I think he was wearing like 5 vests.
In fact, the New Day specifically said they only accepted the challenge if you didn't bring your vest.
Yeah.
So, don't like that, and the unicorn stomp spot went on a little too long.
Did it was it 2 times or 3 times? I honestly...
Three times.
Okay, so that was way too much. But that's really my only gripe about the match. Like, the match, for me, not really liking the New Day much, because they're very formulaic and predictable. They actually did a bunch of cool things. They teased some stuff that paid off later. Dean Ambrose didn't do the same thing he always does. Seth Rollins kind of did, because Seth Rollins is like that, and he gets one match.
In fairness,
in his head, and that's all he does for a year.
I do want to point something out. Seth Rollins is the architect, so the fact that his matches are very formulaic actually fits in with his character.
I guess
it doesn't make it less boring. I'm just saying that it works storyline wise.
It would play better if he was the license plate maker, not the architect. And Roman Reigns did exactly what Roman Reigns always does in every single match, but it worked here because everybody else was doing good stuff. There was a lot of really good double team moves. There was a lot of good in and outs. A lot of really excellent trios teamwork, and overall, very well done. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yep, just a couple spots I want to bring up. Big E spear to the outside on Ambrose. That was really good. That was great.
Damn, looked like he was dead. And even Seth Blackland's came around the corner and went, "Oh shit."
That was good. And I also, just an interesting spot, Xavier Woods picking up Big E and having Kofi hit a splash over top of both of them and then slamming Big E onto Rollins.
Yeah.
That's creativity. I like that.
Xavier Woods apparently does his squats in the gym.
He
that
apparently
is
does.
Not easy.
And I also really liked the double midnight hour with Big E hoisting up Rollins and Ambrose for Kofi and Xavier to both hit. And in the end, the Shield gets the win, as it should be. This is their first pay-per-view match back as a trio. And eventually it's a Shield Bomb, Avalanche Shield Bomb on Kofi for the win. So I'm good with pretty much everything there. Like I said, the unicorn stomp spot, shortened that up, and put a fucking Raw t-shirt on Roman Reigns, and this would get top marks.
Yeah, it doesn't Doesn't make it. Who does he think he is? Fucking D'Lo.
Fucking D'Lo. D'Lo Brown didn't make that get over, Roman. Then we had a quick thing with Stephanie trying to hype up the ladies. It was meh.
Was that all promo shit or was that live? I again went back to the kitchen.
I think it was promo shit because Alicia Fox's hat falls off and pardon me, I think it was live because Alicia Fox's hat fell off and they didn't do a retake.
Oh,
so
yeah,
okay. I think
I just
that was
couldn't
live.
remember if this was like from the past 3 or 4 weeks of Raw or if it was like live.
No, this was definitely the first time we'd seen it. Whether it was a retape or live, I don't know, but I suspect it was live.
Very nice.
Then we had Team SmackDown ladies versus Team Raw ladies. This match started with the kind of weirdness of Graves' dual allegiances, where he just seemed to keep forgetting who he's supposed to be on the side of.
Yeah, to be clear, this was a 5-man booth, and it was garbage all night long. Except for one spot that you'll bring up later. With Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness doing the commentating for the Enzo match that was previously on before the Owens match.
Yeah. It makes sense that Graves would be going back and forth. Like he should be supporting who he usually supports in a nutshell because he's a commentator for both shows.
Yeah.
But like he normally says Alicia Fox is basically crazy, and someone insulted Alicia Fox's hat. She had like a captain's hat thing, and he goes, "Well, Becky Lynch is look at your captain. She's wearing goggles inside, and it's bright inside." And I'm like,
yeah,
this is weak.
I like how Alicia Fox is immediately trying to steal Kairi Sane's gimmick before she gets on the main roster.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah. We get the early elimination of Becky Lynch, which wasn't really a fan of. I would have had Becky be one of the last girls, but whatever. It's fine.
Well, I would have had Carmella be first, because obviously she's the worst.
Yeah, if you're going to eliminate someone off SmackDown's team, it's Carmella.
If you're going by talent, it has to be Carmella first, followed by Naomi, followed by probably Tamina. Well, probably Alicia Fox.
You know what? I'm going to put Naomi over Tamina. Which is more of a statement of I don't really rate Tamina high than any real particular backing of Naomi.
I'll take Tamina out of that equation. I'll put Alicia Fox in there because she's only got like one move, and then again she can do bendy shit, so she's kind of an unofficial Australian, I guess.
She's much more athletic than the Australians, at least.
Yeah, but dude, she cannot work her way through a clothesline.
They've never seemingly taught her. And to be honest, I'm putting the blame on her as well here because she's also not, figured out how to learn how to use her athleticism to put on, a good match. She does a couple things well, like the 3-way when she went up against Sasha Banks and Bayley for the team captaincy. That was actually very good. Incredibly out of character because, of course, she'd been a jobber up until that point and she dominated that match. So that's stupid. But the match itself was actually very good. So she's capable of things, just not really on a consistent basis, and she doesn't, I don't know, there's no flow to her work. No, and she can't fake her way through anything. Like if somebody's supposed to duck under the clothesline, she barely even moves her arm. That's just one thing I noticed in this match that I hadn't before. But she definitely can't. She can't sell. She's definitely, well, it's not that sell. She is a product of WWE's highly scripted matches. She cannot work off script. Yeah. Never. The match goes to complete shit when she has to do it. Yeah, but that's really all the gripes I have for this match. Everything else I thought, as far as, I would not have had Becky Lynch go out first. I sure as shit wouldn't have had Bayley go out second. After, wasn't there some sort of speech from Stephanie about, you gotta stop being a hugger. You gotta show me everything you got. You gotta give me everything. And she did not do that. I mean, she eliminated Becky, but she did not show well. No, she was in the match for 5.5 minutes of the 18.5 minutes. She was second one gone. Mm-hmm. Booker T also fucking up his allegiances, which I gave Graves a pass on because, technically he's supposed to be conflicted. Booker is supposed to be Team Raw. And he's just sometimes big upping Team SmackDown and crapping on Raw for some reason. I don't. He never makes any sense at all. Yeah.
I swear he was the one that booked the fucking War Games match.
They actually did a really good job, I thought, with Tamina and getting Nia Jax out of there. I mean, basically Nia Jax still looks like a badass, and it actually did probably good things for Tamina's stock to be standing up to her.
Yeah.
So that's a win. We did have Alicia Fox go crazy after Jax's elimination, which was less than awesome. And I think they honestly botched her elimination because Naomi rolled her up and pinned her for 3. And I think she was supposed to kick out, and then Naomi was supposed to lock her in her glow lock thing. And
she has a glow lock.
So feel the glow or whatever. It's a submission hold she's got.
I honestly, I have no idea what her finisher is. All I know is she dances the horrible
one of her finishers is the rear end or the rear view. Pardon me.
Whatever, the hip check, the funky weapon, which is good when Taguchi does it, but it's no good when she.
It's fine when she does it. It's just not a finisher.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that she seems to be very, very much in favor of is screeching at this really high-pitched warble about glow time or feel the glow, and people and and the crowd goes mild. There's no reaction for anything she does.
So after Alicia Fox gets eliminated and SmackDown is up 4-2. At this point, Naomi taps out Sasha Banks taps out Naomi with the bank statement, and then Asuka makes pretty short work of Carmella with a spin kick. And then we lose the boss to Natty in a sharpshooter, and then Asuka gets the flying cross arm breaker on Tamina and the Asuka lock on Natty. So 3 eliminations for Asuka to win the match, and she looks badass.
Yeah, she before the Asuka lock, she did like a double chicken wing sit-out bomb thing? Sit-out butt bomb? I don't know what you call it. But I thought it was a really good setup for the Asuka lock, because, it obviously puts torque on the shoulders.
Uh-huh. And, great work here. Team Raw wins because they had to. They had Nia Jax on the team and Asuka. There was no way to not have Raw win this particular match.
Yeah.
Asuka looks super strong. Nia Jax is protected. Tamina's stock goes up. Largely wins on all fronts except for the early eliminations of Becky and Bayley.
Yeah, I would say so. And just tell Naomi not to try and work the crowd. They're not going to respond. They never do. They never have.
Then that puts Raw up 2-0. Then we had a little Stephanie McMahon and Daniel Bryan back and forth. They discuss, Raw's winning. How did you get John Cena? Did Kurt not ask him, or is this nepotism with because he's basically your brother-in-law? Which is hilarious hearing Stephanie talk about anything to do with nepotism, because the only reason she has her job is her last name.
Correct.
That is all. That's pretty much all there is. I guess the interesting thing here is she did state that if Shane is incapacitated, Daniel would have complete control over SmackDown. And he seemed to be, pondering what that would be like. Then we had Baron Corbin and The Miz. I am going to be complimentary and burial at the same time here. I really like the fact that what these guys did with social media and also their promos on TV. They built this matchup really well. That's the complimentary part. The negative part of this is I still didn't care because their booking is in such crappy state, and in the case of The Miz, I've lost any real faith of caring about him at any point.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the problem with The Miz is, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, his promos are so outlandishly foolish and blatantly false. In the age of the internet, I can literally type shit into Google and prove you wrong in an instant. No one's buying the fact that you're a movie star because we all know how embarrassingly bad the movies you are in are. And also combined with the fact that you never make physical contact with your opponents in a match that's supposed to look real, the dude has zero credibility. He's got great charisma, gets over on the mic, not sure how, because He's completely unbelievable, but he's got great charisma, and it's always the same problem with the guy. And this match was, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this like a 7, because Baron Corbin did an excellent job. Well, they did an excellent job booking everybody to get involved. Like, even Maurice, by the way, Maurice was in the crowd right at ringside. Therefore, with The Miz having family at ringside, he has to lose embarrassingly in public.
Yep.
Because Vince McMahon loves humiliating his employees. Yeah, they did a really excellent job of playing, like, basically 3-card Monty with Baron Corbin, and they had Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel fucking around the whole time. And then occasionally he would wrestle some of The Miz. I would say that the way that they did this was excellent. They didn't get Miz to wrestle as much as like an actual wrestler would wrestle, which is the best plan when you come to the things like this. You keep the crap to a minimum, and Baron Corbin kind of carried the whole thing. I was very impressed.
Uh-huh. Then we went to Heyman backstage to cut a promo. He's talking about how AJ is phenomenal. This evening is phenomenal. But basically, AJ is going to get conquered by Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and this is where Interview Bot fails for the first time.
Yeah.
Because Interview Bot, Heyman, it just goes from quiet and menacing to screaming, yelling. And Interview Bots just has a gentle, mild smile on her face. And she's nodding and agreeing very pleasantly with an angry, upset, like, getting with the business dude. Have some trepidation on your face. Have like an expression at all would be.
I would say an expression. I think trepidation is a little too far, because like what Heyman's not going to attack her or anything, but she should be reacting to the content of the interview, and she is not.
It was not fantastic. Heyman was great. Heyman's always great.
Yeah. And then we go to the Bar versus the Usos. Not one of the better Uso promos. Sometimes I like them, and sometimes I don't. That's just kind of all there's.
I never like them ever. They're all silly. They rely on trying to outshout the crowd, which is, it's not a bad technique. It's actually what I would prefer most people to do, because the crowds are usually retarded and try and go into business for themselves. But they're always silly. They're usually nonsensical. I think they think that they're using cool hip slang or something, or that people will respect them for being gangster and aggressive. And it's just silly.
I pretty much agree with all that. Sometimes it's actually kind of impressive, but not this time. 2 spots to talk about, just off the top of my head. Nice European uppercut interception of the dive from Cesaro. And the execution of this move was off, but I like the idea of the sort of Tower of Doom Samoan drop spot. That's kind of neat. Basically, Cesaro had one of the Usos on his shoulders, and Sheamus was going to the top rope to do probably just a forearm or something. And the Uso grabbed Cesaro, put him in a Samoan drop, and then when Cesaro grabbed Sheamus, put him in the Samoan drop position, and then when Cesaro dropped him, Samoan dropped his own partner, basically. So that was cool.
I liked the match. The match was, again, quite good. I'd give that another 7 out of 10 if I'm giving out ratings out of 10. But the first
I'd go a little higher, because this was better than the Corbin-Miz match. Well,
the last quarter of the match was Uso land, which, again, the first 3 quarters of the match, the Bar were an effective, active tag team. A lot of tags, a lot of teamwork, like actual teamwork, because they're a team. Very good ring generalship. They took control of situations. They, were able to separate the Usos in a very good psychological way and or physical way, and just kind of they kept the match their own for 3 quarters of the time, and that's where the match should have ended. But since I guess they, for some reason, this is the reason they booked this the way they did is because they have this Raw versus SmackDown score counter. So you have to even the score at this point. Or you have to try to start bringing the score back in line.
I mean, you could have made it 3-1, but that would have meant AJ would have to beat Brock, and we knew that wasn't happening.
No, exactly. That's not going to happen. So you have to give SmackDown another score here. So you have to have Cesaro and Sheamus win. If that's the case, this was the wrong match. The match that I watched was very, very good up until the last quarter when it turned into Uso Silly Land, where apparently like single maneuvers like a clothesline is good enough to go for a pin, or just silly psychological mistakes that don't really work. And then suddenly they're having their ass kicked from pillar to post for 3/4 of the match. Suddenly they're like, oh no, now we win, yay. And I'm left going, like, I saw it coming, but I knew it was going to have to happen, but I kind of expected anything better than that.
I can see where you're coming from, but I think everything's true. I just think I was probably a shade higher on the match than you were.
Fair enough. And I just, I really was enjoying it. I enjoyed every single one of these matches. I can't think of a single match tonight that I did not enjoy watching. Towards
the end of the main event, I was starting to have some problems.
I was fine with it. I realized that they were going to have to do something like the way they were doing it. I'm not going to disagree. We'll talk about it when we get to it, but I'm not totally disagreeing with what you have in mind, but I'm also okay with it. Basically, I'm going to have the same reaction to the main event that you're having with this match here. It's just that with all of the excellent work from the Bar, it just got silly and foolish at the end.
We got a Jason Jordan promo time. He's ready to go. He's 100%. He's healed. He wants the opportunity. He's afraid he's never going to get that opportunity again. He is 100% behind his team. And then the interview bot asks him, even Triple H? To which he responds,
fuck that guy.
I want Triple H to get eliminated, and then we win.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss. I don't have a lot to say about this match, but I'm going to throw something out here that I don't like the way that Alexa Bliss works her match.
No.
What I like, I'm not saying that Alexa Bliss is an amazing worker that we just haven't been seeing, because she was green when she came up, and there's nothing that suggests that she's particularly better than she is, although I think there is potential. The problem is I think they keep having her work this almost methodical style. Like, she'll do a little bit of explosive offense every once in a while, but a lot of what she does is like kind of working you over and stuff, and she doesn't have the build for it. She is a tiny fitness model. Her in-ring style should be based around speed, explosiveness,
athleticism,
things of that nature, and it's really not. And I don't really have an explanation for why they have her style the way it is.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. She is, according to the Wikipedia, she is 5'1", and they don't have a weight for her, but I'm going to go with like 120 pounds?
I think lighter than that, to be honest.
Probably. Anyway, she was a fitness model, and she's small, but not fast. She's small, but not athletic. She's small, but not tough. What part of this am I supposed to be enthusiastic about, or supportive of, or buy into?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Listen, I don't have a problem with her work rate. I don't have a problem with her moveset. I don't have a problem with anything really, other than I'm not really sure what her gimmick is supposed to be other than bitch. And I don't know why. I don't know how or why she would ever win a match, because again, we're going back to this. It's supposed to be choreographed fight theater, right? So we're supposed to buy in. Psychologically, we're supposed to suspend disbelief and just go with it. But why would I? I don't I don't understand.
There's early in this match, there's something that I think perfectly sets this up. She's working this like slow, methodical break, and she's got your kind of generic rest hold basically on Charlotte. And Charlotte is selling hard, and it's like nothing about this picture right now makes any sense.
Yeah, Charlotte should just literally stand up and go, "Get off me, bitch."
Kinda, yeah. So
there's no, again, there's no. I don't. If she was very, very fast and was able to, like, I'm not saying like lucha libre, but something ish like that, or if she threw hard kicks like a Joshi wrestler, or she had a crazy good submission game, or I just don't like. There's a big piece of the puzzle as to why I should be involved with this match or her at all. I mean, she's hot. She's great on the mic. She does what the company tells her to do, and I understand why they're pushing her, but I don't understand why I should buy in.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And the other thing that I find annoying, they didn't do it in this match, but this is kind of a side note. Periodically, they try to give her this like one-punch knockout power, like it's how she beat Mickie James in their last match. And
that's hilarious.
They've done it a couple of other times where like she hits someone and they go down like they're shot. I'm like, she is the smallest girl on the roster. No, you want to do that with like Nia Jax? Go ahead. Tamina? Yes.
I could totally buy it, but they have to set it up. Like they have to. This can't just be a random. Oh my goodness, she randomly knocked this person out because we didn't book a finish.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like she kind of just randomly knocks people out every so often, and it's like. For the rest of this match, however, it looked like your strikes did nothing. There's a little inconsistency here. But this was the worst match up till this point, and possibly the worst match. But it was not bad. It was serviceable. I'm not angry with it, but
yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. Charlotte did an amazing job of carrying the entire match. Really, Bliss did really good work in the match. I don't have really. There's a couple of nitpicks. Like, yeah, there's some stuff where Charlotte, being much larger and much stronger, should have just kind of went.
Also supremely flexible. So like,
yeah,
honestly, very few of these kind of like rest hold scenarios should work on her.
Yeah. So other than the obvious physical disparity, this was again another good match. Managed to get it done in exactly 15 minutes, apparently. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that they gave the women time to work a match. They only got 25 seconds less than AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar, spoiler alert. And, at this point, you knew that Charlotte had to get the win because of the Raw versus SmackDown score. They really, really, really booked themselves into a fucking corner on that one. So, I mean,
mind you, there was no way around booking yourself into the corner because AJ and Brock always had to be late in the card.
Yeah, I mean, you could just book things to go a different way.
Here's the thing. The problem was that there were 3 matches that Raw pretty much had to win. Like, they had to win the women's elimination match because Asuka and Nia Jax.
Yeah.
They had to win the Shield match because Shield first pay-per-view match back together pretty much has to be a win. And Brock pretty much had to win. So
I could, you know what? I totally, and since we're talking about Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles, let's move on to that one. I'm completely over Brock Lesnar. I don't care if he never wrestles again.
I'm 100% with you. I'm just recognizing the reality of the matter is that Brock isn't going to do a job to AJ Styles.
Well, he will if you tell him to.
They told him he was facing Jinder Mahal, and apparently one of the reasons why that didn't happen was Brock said, "It's really not an interesting match to me. I think we need to eliminate that." Like Brock is his own booker. Like that's kind of the thing.
That's all well and cute, but at the end of the day, there's a man in charge of things, and the man in charge of things can say yay or nay, and you can try and book around that.
You can't if Brock is willing to walk out, and he has shown a willingness to do that. I'm fine with that. You're okay with that, I'm okay with that too. I'm stating Vince is not okay with that.
Listen, I know Vince is really addicted to the part-timers and the retirees, but at this point, Brock shows up 3 times a year, he throws some German suplexes, and then he goes home. And for fuck's sake, I can watch anybody throw German suplexes. You know what? Who does really good German suplexes? Tozawa. I'll go watch Tozawa, because he's there every other week. I could watch Tozawa all fucking day. Those German suplexes are fucking cool. I don't care that old, lumpy, fat Brock Lesnar, who is not dude has an amazing amount of off time. When he shows up on TV or pay-per-view, I expect him to be in the best shape of his life. And he's kind of just doughy and lumpy now. And he just shows up, throws 3 or 4 or 10 or a bajillion German suplexes, and then goes home. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I don't care at all.
You and I don't care, but the casual fan does. It moves the number ratings wise and so on.
That being said, this was a damn fucking good match.
Oh yeah, you put AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar in there, it's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was a little bit. The first 5 minutes, it was a bit weird because I was going, wow, Styles is really selling like a motherfucker, where are we going? Please don't tell me we're going to have the sudden flurry of comeback offense. And we kind of did, but it wasn't as bad as everybody else does it, so I let it go.
Highlight of the match was the flying thrusting knee. That was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Brock plays with his food a little bit, which leads to AJ making the comeback. Just an interesting spot, and I'm honestly not sure if I like it or not. Brock punched himself out of the ring. That was it's a bit weird.
It was a little bit of a miscommunication. I think that was the spot, the way that it was supposed to go. But I think AJ
perhaps was supposed to pull that rope down further.
Well, I think he was supposed to go with like a bit of more of a judo throw type scenario where like he's supposed to you duck the punch and you come up underneath his hips and you just chuck him over the ropes.
Interesting counter to the calf slicer of just basically grabbing AJ's head and smashing it into the mat repeatedly.
That was really good. I liked AJ let his arm flop around so it sounded like it was fucking getting crushed. It was great.
And then the finish came with the phenomenal forearm getting intercepted into an F5. And Brock gets the win to tie it at 3 apiece.
Yep, they teased that a couple times, which I liked.
AJ got his standard shit in. Got to look good, like he looked strong. Stronger than a lot of Lesnar's opponents have.
Yep,
and this was
also. I liked the attempt at the Styles Clash on Lesnar. That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And this match was about 1,000,000 times better than the Lesnar Mahal match we were advertised. So
yeah,
we'll go with that. So 2 thumbs up, best match of the night in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say that's probably not incorrect.
Then we go on to the main event: Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Couple of just comedy things here. We had a glorious suck it.
That was awesome.
That was pretty good. And this was the only time where I actually liked the 5-man booth because Corey Graves got pretty confused. Corey Graves, whenever he's with someone who's not from SmackDown, tries to get them to do like the Hallelujah for Bobby Roode, as long as it's not Byron Saxton. And he goes, Go ahead, someone give me a hallelujah. And Byron gives him like a really unenthusiastic hallelujah. And then Tom Phillips jumps in going, hallelujah! He's like, shut up, Saxton, I'm Phillips. So that was good. I like that. Nakamura was the first one eliminated, but he did get to kick some ass. He did get to do some good things, so I'm reasonably okay with it.
Yeah, he got to get his shit in, and that was fantastic. I know you have an issue with specifically Shane McMahon being in it where he was in the match. I mean, in a perfect world, none of the retirees and part-timers would even be in this match. Or in a slightly less perfect world, all of the retirees and part-timers would be eliminated before all the actual newer talent. But, yeah.
Yeah, my problem here was that if you look at the elimination order, just spoiler, Nakamura, Rude, Joe, Cena, Balor. So of your first 5, 4 of them are the guys that you're supposed to be building the company around in the future. And your final 5 were Randy Orton, who's, what do you think, 4 years maybe tops?
Yeah, I wouldn't keep him around now, but I don't see him being around longer than 3 or 4 years.
Kurt Angle, who is honestly one major injury away from being forced into retirement, if we're being honest. Like, he's part-timer. Shane McMahon, the son of the owner of the company, and Triple H, who's trying to retire. So...
But he really likes that WrestleMania payday.
Well, yeah, but like he wants to see the part-time WrestleMania. Like the thing is he's not going to be on your weekly TV show. He's not going to be on your pay-per-views generally, and especially if he takes over the company, he's not going to be. So, yeah, like you had Braun Strowman in there at the final 5 as your only full-time guy, and keep in mind that he was unconscious on the outside of the ring after getting put through a table.
Correct.
McMahon, Orton, and Cena. So, like, I mean, I understand it to a degree as to why this had to happen, because you had the storyline to play out with Shane and Kurt and Triple H at the end, and Randy Orton, kind of has reputation, whatever. But I mean, I just and not that Nakamura, Rude, Joe, and Balor are even necessarily stars of the future. Because we're talking about a group of guys who are like all over 35 years old, which again, the age of this match, Jesus Christ. But to eliminate all of your full timers so early in the match, man, like,
yep,
I don't know. At least have Cena like bite the bullet and go out early, because I mean, man wasn't even really advertised to be in this match, so have him go out early at least.
Yeah, I would say that's not incorrect. Also, about halfway through, something like that, there was a run-in from Owens and Zayn, and goddamn, Zayn has that cocky dickhead swagger down to a fucking science. That guy's amazing.
He's very good at it.
I just like watching him on camera. Like, he wasn't even they did the thing. They beat up Shane McMahon, and they just kept the camera on him, and he's just like fucking being the little cocky little dickhead. It was great. I could just watch that.
So, to get back on somewhat chronological order, Strowman gets the running power slams on Nakamura and Rude, eliminates them. Samoa Joe goes out to an attitude adjustment, and at this point is when Cena, McMahon, and Orton took out Braun. He wasn't the legal man, so he didn't get counted out, but he was out of the match for the remainder, basically. Making it a 3-on-3 at that point, but angle slam on John Cena takes him out, and Orton evens the numbers again by RKOing Balor, but he gets running power slammed by Braun, who has returned at this point. And then then we had the run-in from Sammy and KO. And earlier, Shane McMahon got killed by Balor against the barricade. So, yeah.
That shotgun dropkick was ridiculous.
Yeah. But again, like, this is why I had the problem with Triple H being inserted as the 5th, because you knew he had to be involved in the end, because we had to do the tension. And if you get rid of him, it leaves a spot that maybe one of the younger guys could be in here at the end and get exposure and maybe get built into a bit of a star. Because, or like just in general, getting someone who's under the age of 35 into this match outside of Braun Strowman would be freaking fantastic.
That would be pretty cool. And if they could stop wasting everybody's time by keeping, proven professionals in NXT for like 2 or 5 or 20 years.
Yeah. Although, mind you, we complained about them rushing McIntyre out of NXT, so to a degree, we're being mixed signaled.
That's true, but seriously, why would you even bother sending Joe to NXT?
So the end of the match is really anticlimactic because we have Shane McMahon versus Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Braun Strowman. Man. Shane gets one elimination because Triple H turns on Kurt and pedigrees him.
Yep.
Shane gets the elimination. Triple H makes like he's going to play nice with Shane, and then pedigrees him, and
I was
that's
genuinely
the match.
confused at that point because that's like the fourth time in the last 2 years that Triple H had randomly pedigreed a person either on his team or just somebody who was in a match already or just a random person. And at that point, my brain was going in circles trying to connect all the dots, trying to figure out, is there a long-term storyline here that I'm just not seeing? And it turned out, no, he's just being a dick.
I mean, it could set up something with Triple H and Shane at Mania, maybe, but I would go down the road with Triple H and Angle for Mania.
I was going to have to assume that Triple H and Angle.
Well, the theory is that it's going to be Angle and Jordan at Mania. Somehow we're going to end up with the heel turn and set it up for Mania. Well, and we'll get Shane versus Triple H.
Maybe we'll get Angle versus H at the Royal Humble, and then we'll get the heel turn there from Jason Jordan.
I could see that. Then a little bit of after-match theatrics, shall we say? Also, I did like the spot where Balor tried to steal the spoils on Cena or Orton. I can't remember who it was that was down, but either Cena or Orton are down, and Balor tags himself in on Joe and gets ready to do the coup de grace. Like, I got this. I'm gonna finish him off, and then Joe gets out of the ring and then tags Balor and basically says, "No, this is mine." Which led to some tension in the Team Raw ranks. So at the end of the match, Triple H is trying to pose with Braun Strowman, like, "Oh, we're the winners, we're the survivors." And Braun, who has technically been turned on by Triple H, who eliminated his team captain, and it seemed like Braun was supposed to like Kurt Angle, like he seemed to respect him during this whole storyline. And he grabs Triple H by the throat, choking him in the corner. "Do not cross me again." And Triple H did a fucking great job of selling it. He did try to jump Strowman from behind and pedigree him, but Strowman was having none of that and hit a running power slam. And then the crowd was shouting, one more, and or they were shouting, "He's not done with you." And he picks up Triple H and power slams him again. And that's where the one more came in. They wanted a third one, but he didn't give it to them. So
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the whole match. I was legitimately at the point where it was 3-on-1 versus Shane. I was like, how are they going to book this? Like, they can't just WWE doesn't go out of their way to be that brutally obvious. Like, it can't be just that easy. And then,
Oh, I assure you they have. I can name 2 Survivor Series matches that were more obvious than this off the top of my head.
Fair enough.
Without looking it up.
While I was watching the match and enjoying it, I wasn't analyzing all of the other Survivor Series that had ever existed.
Oh no, it wasn't. I just remember these 2 like kind of specifically because they're the ridiculous ones. It was Team DX versus Team RKO, where Team DX had no eliminations.
Oh god.
It was the Hardy Boys, CM Punk, and Michaels and Triple H, and they all survived. And the other one that came to mind was Team Guerrero versus Team I can't remember. I think it was Angle, and only Rob Van Dam got eliminated on Team Guerrero. Big Show, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero all survived.
That's brutal. Why would you eliminate Rob Van Dam?
I guess they needed someone, and at the time they weren't really doing anything with Van Dam.
Anyway, while I'm watching the match and enjoying it, it was just very interesting to see, like, okay, you got a 3-on-1 situation. Ordinarily, WWE's not that fucking ham-fisted. So where are we going with this? We've already had one run-in. Are we going to have another run-in? Are we going to have Jason Jordan come down and kick the shit out of Triple H? Are we going to have, like, what are we going to have here? And then he did the pedigree thing. And then my mind started going in circles, going, okay, he's done this a bunch in the last few years. Where is this going? And it turns out he was just being the cerebral assassin. He's just being a dick. So I enjoyed that, and then I enjoyed Braun Strowman being Braun Strowman, and it was a good time. So I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the entire card. The main event had problems for me, but they were problems that I knew were going to be there going in.
I got problems for you, boy.
Because you had a lack of actual full-time talent and a lack of guys who were stars of the future. Because honestly, aside from Strowman, I don't think any of this match really, like, in 5 years even, I don't think any of these guys will be necessarily the stars of the company.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Vince can't book, so yeah. Why would Samoa Joe be the front of the face of your company?
Well, in 5 years he'll be over 40 years old, though.
Only because it makes at that point he'll just hold the title and sit at home for 200 days a year and never show up. And
so I mean, this is the problem with just how the teams were made up and how we got to this point, is that the main event was filled with guys who aren't really the future of the company, and Survivor Series is kind of a time to kind of make some new stars. One of the better examples of this is actually John Cena was kind of made into a real star at Survivor Series. He was already on the climb at that time as Dr. Thugonomics, but he hadn't been the champion yet. He'd been a U.S. champion. And they put him on Team Angle and had him and Chris Benoit be the last survivors against Team Lesnar. And it was kind of like, oh, that's a nice rub. And they'd done it with a couple of other people as well. CM Punk in the aforementioned Team DX match. And there was none of that here. And they really need to make some main eventers who are a bit younger. Not that they don't have potential, because Ambrose and Rollins are kind of there, and they're reasonably young, and Roman Reigns is young, and like it or not, he's a main eventer. But outside of the Shield, the future of the main event scene, kind of bleak. Kind of got to get working on that.
Yep, I mean, you've got Owens, you've got Styles, but Styles is
37, 38, something like that.
37, 38. So, yeah. I mean, he'll be around for another 5 years, maybe, hopefully. You got a bunch of guys who can make a very big impact in a very short amount of time if you start booking correctly. And then they're going to be gone or in diminished capacities or what have you. So, maybe pull your head out of your ass and use talent effectively.
Ty Dillinger, Owens, Zayn, Tyler Breeze. A little small for main event scene, but should be at least mid card. Fandango. I mean, the list goes on.
Correct.
So that is all for Survivor Series. Like I said, a good show. It had problems with the main event, but I liked everything else, and it delivered, even if this was one of the more predictable kind of Raw versus SmackDown things, because, like I said, there were 3 matches that I think Raw, going into it, I knew Raw was going to win. And I don't mean like I was like pretty sure, I mean like 100% they were going to win these matches. And that kind of made the other matches, which weren't necessarily 100%, by default SmackDown having to win.
Yeah.
So, that's, a bit of a problem, but I suppose this card got thrown into all kinds of disarray, so it's not a huge problem. Don't have anything else to add. You got anything you want to throw out there?
Referee Charles Robinson is pretty cool.
He is pretty cool. So we head away from this WWE weekend. I'd say fairly happy, because I mean we were largely happy with War Games until the actual War Games match.
Yeah,
and we were pretty happy with this.
Yeah, I would indeed encourage you to watch said series of Survivors. It is enjoyable.
All right, so we got World Tag League stuff going on. So if we get an English show on that, we'll probably review that. We did watch the first one, but it was in Japanese.
Hey.
Just to throw out the winners. Juice Robinson and Sami Callihan won their match, so they are at a victory. 2 points, I do believe. Mm-hmm. And 2 points also for Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto.
Yoshihashi.
And we're waiting for everybody else.
Pretty much.
Including the group of Utter Death, which is not kicked off yet. Block me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I finally got to see Jeff Cobb in not quite a version, and I find that to be highly enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to more of that. Wasn't there somebody else that's making their debut in Japan?
Chuck Taylor.
Chucky T.
It took me forever to recognize Chucky T. Actually,
yeah. Cut his hair.
I actually I don't even think I would have recognized him if he was like doing like if it had been just a regular multi-man match. It was only when I realized, oh right, these are two teams against each other. That's Beretta, so that's got to be Chuck E. T.
Yeah, hit the awful waffle. It was great.
That was a good show as well. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We got Wrestle Kingdom not too far away, and been watching some TNA mixed bag. Reviews on that might come. We'll see. And so until next time, get off Byron's lawn and enjoy your evening.